Okay, here we are. Let's see, what's today? Today is May 5, 1991. And Cheyenne's got a cold, don't you, baby? Huh? Poor little girl. She got such a snuffy nose. We feel so sorry for her. How's your nose, Hunt?
I'm trying to get the boogers out.
Trying to get the boogers out of it?
Now I told you
I know. I understand about the boogers, my boy. Anyway,
what?
How's your cold, I asked.
I don't know.
Is it bothering you? Are you sneezing?
My cold?
Okay, yeah, you, I know. Well, climb up here, because what we're going to do right now is we're going to read Jerome and the Witchcraft Kids. Sunday night. You had a neat weekend, huh? The Witchcraft Kids. Okay, it says it was Halloween night. What do we do on Halloween?
You're supposed to get trick-or-treating.
You go trick-or-treating. You put on costumes, don't you? You dress up like funny things. Well, it says on Halloween, Jerome, now this is really like Hunter, because Hunter likes to be Jerome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Jerome was making posters, and on each one he wrote, Jerome the babysitter, no job too difficult, and he pasted a picture of himself in the center. He says, his sister, this is Winifred over here. I don't know what she's dressing up as, do you? Anyway, it's a dress. You're right, Cheyenne. And this is her friend, I guess. And they're looking, our best friend Lulu. This is Lulu and this is Winifred. And they're looking in the mirror. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's Cheyenne, I said.
Okay, that's Cheyenne, he says. You think so?
I just thought.
Okay. Anyway, I think they're dressing up like a witch, because see the witch hat?
And this one, it's a ballerina.
With the ballerina dress, okay. Well, Winifred says, aren't you coming trick-or-treating? And she was trying on costumes with her best friend Lulu. No, I'm too busy, said Jerome. I'm making posters that I'm going to put up all over town.
That's Cheyenne.
Okay, that's Cheyenne. It says, well, take a break, said Lulu. Have a little fun. You already have more babysitting jobs than I do, grumbled Winifred. Okay. He said, I've been in business for 3 years, and you've only been babysitting for 3 weeks. Well, Jerome said. He says, I'm a terrific babysitter. Well, don't let it go to your head, said Lulu. Someday you might get a job that is just too difficult. I doubt it, said Jerome. What an interesting idea, said Winifred to herself. Well, while Jerome was putting up his posters, Winifred and Lulu put on some different costumes. Look, they were putting on the costumes with the dresses, but they took them off. And they put on a ghost costume and a witch costume. Now, when Jerome came back, Winifred and Lulu were gone. He wrote a note on the door which said, he found a note on the door. And see, here he is. Here's Jerome, and he's found this note, and it was tacked to the door, and it said, Dear Jerome, can you babysit tonight from 6 to 8? If you can, come to the old yellow house at the edge of the swamp. Desperately, Mrs. Witchcraft. Ooh, how strange. I thought that house was empty, said Jerome. Someone must have moved in. And so Jerome got on his bicycle, and he went pedaling across town, and he rode his bike over to the yellow house. And he looked at it and he thought, ooh, it really looks spooky. I don't know. Would you go up there and knock on the door? No? Would you go up there, Cheyenne? It looks like a witch house. Well, the door opened. You're right on time, said a woman wearing a long black dress and a tall black hat. Well, maybe I have the wrong house, gasped Jerome. No, I'm Mrs. Witchcraft, cackled the woman. This is the right house. Come in and meet the children. And so the house was so dark and it was so difficult to see. This is Lucy. Mrs. Lucifer, said Mrs. Witchcraft. Supper's in the refrigerator, and be sure to take a bath. Oh, don't worry, said Jerome. I will. Be sure they take a bath. Okay, so anyway, there goes Mrs. Witchcraft. She's going away. hurries out the front door, and just as she was hurrying out the front door, she heard something upstairs going, what's that?
What?
Somebody or something's upstairs. It's the ghost, said Lucy. The ghost? Jerome whispered. Are you afraid of ghosts? Said Lucifer. Of course not, said Jerome. But he was. Now, Jerome was shaking so much he could barely open the refrigerator to look for supper. And he almost fainted when he saw the jar of lizard's eyeballs and a bowl of dead worms and a bottle of vampire blood. Yum, said Lucy and Lucifer. We want some eyeball sandwiches. Don't you have any peanut butter? Said Jerome. So look at Jerome. He's making sandwiches for them out of the eyeballs that have been taken out of people and animals and cats. But he's about sick. Look, what's that look on his face? What's that about?
Yucky.
Yucky look is right. What does he look like? He looks like he's about to be sick to me. Doesn't he to you, Shy? Poor Jerome. Jerome held his breath and tried to close his eyes when he made the sandwiches, and Lucy and Lucifer helped. She said, I like vampire blood in my eyeballs, said Lucy. Me too, said Lucifer. And so then, look at here, poor Jerome. He's sitting there with his head on the table trying to hide his eyes. Lucy and Lucifer were messy eaters. Eyeballs popped out of the sandwiches and rolled on the floor. Vampire blood and worms oozed all over their clothes and their hands and their faces. Oh, yuck. Now, you have to give us a bath, said Lucy. The bathtub's upstairs, said Lucifer, where the ghost stays. Well, I'm not afraid of ghosts. I'm not afraid of ghosts, said Jerome. But he was. And so he crept upstairs. Lucy and Lucifer followed, and the floorboards creaked, and Jerome stopped. Go on, said Lucy and Lucifer. They pushed him up the stairs and to the bathroom door. But someone was already in the tub. It's a ghost! Shrieked Jerome. It's going to get us, cried Lucifer. They all raced down the stairs. Hide in the basement, shouted Lucy, and she held open the door, and look at this, Jerome ran down the stairs as fast as he could, and as he did, a bat brushed his head, and it brushed against his nose, and he jumped away, and he tripped over something on the floor, and he fell into the sheets that were hanging on the laundry line. Oh, no! Oh, a skeleton of an alligator! Oh! The line collapsed. Oh, Lucy, Lucifer, where are you? There was no answer. Jerome scrambled back up the steps. The basement door was locked, and he heard voices, so he peeked through a crack in the door, and they were laughing, and he could see through that crack, and he thought, it's Winifred and Lulu, and Lulu's little sisters. I've been tricked. What's that all about? Huh? Look at this. Mrs. Witchcraft and Lulu were saying, oh, and he thought the Peel's grapes were eyeballs. And he nearly fainted when he saw Winifred in the bathtub dressed as a ghost. So that wasn't really vampire blood, was it, Hunter?
What was it?
What was it, Cheyenne?
What?
I'll bet it was ketchup.
Oh.
And you know what the eyeballs were?
What?
They were just peeled grapes. They took the skin off the grapes and took a little magic marker and they put an eye on it and made them look like eyeballs.
Oh.
And who was really the ghost upstairs? His sister, Winifred. Oh, and did you hear me creaking the floorboard, said Winifred. Well, should we let him out of the basement now, said Lulu. In a few more minutes, said Winifred. But then they heard the front door open behind them. Oh no, a ghost! They were all so scared they couldn't move, and the ghost raised its arms and he floated toward them and said, "Guess who?" Jerome! Look who was in there. It's Jerome. "How did you get here?" "I borrowed a sheet from the laundry line," said Jerome. "Then I climbed out the basement window and decided to scare you for a change." "Well, you certainly did," said Lulu. And just then, while they're standing there, above them they heard the floorboards squeaking, and they heard a sound that like this. "What's that?" asked Jerome. It's not me this time," said Winifred. "Let's get out of here," said Lulu, and they ran out the door and they jumped on their bikes. Dun, 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 dun. They're getting away as fast as they can, but what is coming out of the house? Real ghosts.
Are they flying?
Yes, they are. They're going.
No, the window.
They're coming out the window. What do you think?
Not this one.
Oh, boy. We're going to do What is a Man? You want this even before your DuckTales book?
Yeah.
All right, this is a book called What is a Man? Now, Cheyenne, you have to get involved in this one too, baby doll. And this is a funny little story. What is this thing?
Kitty.
I don't think it's a kitty, Hunter. It's something that lives in the... No, it's something that lives in the jungle, and it lives in a little hole.
What is
And it's called a young orstis. Orstis. Young orstis. Anyway, the word spread very quickly. They said, "Beware of man." Young orstis didn't know what a man was, and boldly he left his cave. And so, soon he saw his friend the hippo at the river, and he ran up to him and he said, "Do you know about a man?" And the hippo went, "Yes, the only thing about him I know is that he walks on 2 feet." And so Orstes imagined a man that looked like this big round ball with 2 little funny dog feet. Is that what a man looks like, Cheyenne?
No.
Huh?
No.
Hunter?
No.
No, of course not. That's not what a man looks like. And so then Orstes went to the highlands to see the giraffe, and he said, "What is a man?" "Well," said the giraffe, "a man is someone with a very short neck." A short neck. Well, the giraffe has a very long neck, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So he thinks men have short necks. And so Orstes imagined a man like being like round like a ball with a funny little neck, looking kind of like a cow head.
No.
Is that what a man looks like?
No.
No. Well, out of the tall grass appeared an elephant. The elephant said, "I can tell you what he looks like. Man is just as wide and long as one of my legs, and what a silly little nose he has." And so Orstes imagined a man looked like this, kind of like a hot dog with funny little dog feet and a little bitty elephant nose and kind of a giraffe head. No, that's not what a man looks like. Cow head, you're right. Look, well, cow head with little whoops on top. Anyway, well, Orstes approached the crocodile. The crocodile said, "Man, that square-toothed animal. He put my sister's skin around his waist. He calls it a belt." And there's little Orstes, and he's thinking, "Oh, my goodness. Man took a crocodile skin and put it around his waist?" And so now, here's what he thinks. He thinks he's got square, weird teeth. He's got an alligator around his stomach. He looks like a fat hot dog with dog feet and a kind of an elephant nose and a cow head. Is that what man looks like?
No.
Cheyenne? No way, is it? You can come over here with your papa and kind of cuddle in, huh? No, that's my girl. Oh, and there's my boy cuddling in over here. I love that. Yeah. After a long journey, Orstes met a peacock. He said, "Well, man's a very envious creature," the peacock said. "He comes in only dreary colors, so he pulls my feathers out of my tail, and he puts my feathers on his head." And so now Orstes thought, "Oh, my God, he looks just like he did before, only now he's got feathers on his head, ostrich feathers on his head. Is that what a man looks like?
No.
No. Then a roar came from the tree, and he looked up, and there was a leopard who heartily agreed. He said, man is someone who likes to dress himself in other people's skin. Uh-oh. So little Orestes thought, man looked like this. Here he is. He's got an elephant nose and square teeth and a cow head, and he's got long ostrich feathers out of his head. Careful there, sweetie. That drink should be out in the kitchen, you know. Here, let me take it. Let me take it and put it right there for right now. All right? And he's got all this wild skin of the leopard on him there. And then Ostrich climbed a nearby hill, and he asked a monkey, what's man? He says, he's a funny cousin of mine. He has short arms and no tail, and his only visible hair is on his head. And so then, this is what Ostrich imagined a man looked like.
No.
Funny little short arms sticking out of the animal's skin. No, doesn't look like a man. And then he saw a horse. And Orestes asked the horse, he said, with his legs as long as his body, he gets on my back and I give man a ride. So Orestes imagined a man looks like this. He had longer legs. Not quite right, is it?
No.
A few yards away there was a pigsty, and the old hog told Orestes, he said, man has a clear and tender skin like a baby pig, and he uses old hog skins to make his shoes. So then they thought, oh my goodness, he looks like this. He's got hog skins on his feet, and he looks really weird.
No.
And do you know what he does to me, said a little lammy. He cuts my wool off of my body. Shame! I give him warmth. And I get chilled out here in the meadow. I get so cold, but he puts on my lambskin.
No.
No. So Orestes imagined a man looked like this. Then he got to the chicken. He says he has a soft little beak. Man's very funny. He doesn't use it much. And so then he imagined man looked like that. Is that right? No. And then he asked a dog. Yeah, said the dog, I know about man. He's a good friend of mine. He uses only his two long, warm arms to feed me and take care of me. And so now Orestes imagined a man look like this.
No.
And finally, Orestes saw a real man. And he cautiously asked him, he says, what is man? And the man answered, I couldn't tell you how he looks because I'm blind, but I can tell you how good he can be when he wants to. And so the blind man took Orestes in his arms and began to tell him about the virtues of man. And as he listened, Orestes fell asleep thinking about a man is someone who can love. And he thought the man was really nice. And he petted him.
When is the dinosaur going to be on?
I don't know. Dinosaur's going to be on probably about 10 more minutes. Are we going to watch? All right. What is this? This is our new DuckTales book.
Is it long?
Looks like a pretty good book. We may have to go to the other side of the tape for it. What's happening over there, girls? She hurt herself, Mom. She crashed into the coffee table.
When are we going to watch this show?
We're going to watch the dinosaur show as soon as it comes on.
Oh.
How about that?
Yes.
You want to?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, this is a book we got yesterday. We went down to town. We went into Westwood. And there was an autograph signing with Robert Bloch, and Daddy had a book signed by him.
And we went to have ice cream, and we got in a Jungle Book tape.
That's right, didn't we? We bought you a Jungle Book tape, and we went to an ice cream store. And what kind of ice cream did they have? It was really different, wasn't it?
It was cookies and cream and chocolate sprinkled cone.
A chocolate sprinkled cone, a great big chocolate sprinkled cone. With cookies and cream ice cream inside. Is that about the best you've ever had?
Yeah, but there's too much ice cream in it.
There was too much ice cream even for you to eat? Oh, Hunter. Can't believe it was too much. You what?
I don't want to throw it away.
You had to throw away the last of the ice cream?
Yes, because there's too much.
Oh, there was? Hey, listen, you know what's going to happen? This book's going to take a long time to read, so we better put it on one side of the tape. Why don't we put this on the other side of the tape? And now we'll look at this book and any other little books. Cheyenne, where's your new little books we got, honey?
Yeah.
Do you know where any of Shy Shy's books are, Mom?
No idea.
Those little ones she got yesterday?
No, I think, what, did those stay in the car or did they come inside?
Did you bring him in, Pumpkin? This is a book. It's just called Thump Thump Rat-a-tat, and the pictures are all about a parade. Here's a school bus, and here comes the marching people. These are kids from school. It goes rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat, thump, 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 thump. Distant drums, chirping horns, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. And look at now, they're getting closer here. See them getting closer? Big as ants and loud as crickets, thump, 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 thump. Pounding drums and squawking horns, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. Look at, they're getting closer now. Big as crickets, loud as birds, thump, 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 thump. Bum, 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 bum. Mom's got something for you out there, sweetheart.
Well,
Piping flutes and purring drums, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. Big as birds and loud as lions, thump, 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 thump. Festive colors, flashing brass, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. Look at how close they are now.
wow.
Thunder coming, getting louder, thump, 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 thump. Marching band all in tune, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. Thunder passing, getting softer, thump, 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 thump. Festive colors, flashing brass, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. Now they're going away. Small as birds and soft as lions, thump, 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 thump. Rum, tum, pum, 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 pum. Piping flutes and purring drums, rat-a-tat-tat and a rat-a-tat-tat. Brum, 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 pum, pum. And small as crickets, soft as birds, thump, 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 thump. Pounding drums and squawking horns, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. Small as ants and soft as crickets, thump, 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 thump. Distant drums and chirping horns, bum, 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 bum. Rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. Thump, 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 thump. Brum, bum, 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 bum. These are the flags. These are the brass instruments. This is the flute, the side drum, the percussion instruments, the drums. That's a cute little book, how the band comes marching at you and then goes right on past, huh? It's fun for Dave to read that book. Just a second. I got to go see Cheyenne. Can you come over on this side, huh? Good boy. Yeah, is this Cheyenne's side over here?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a bad pillow.
Yeah, this is, what's the next day? We were reading this tape, but then last night, I forget what happened. Oh, I know, the dinosaur show came on. You guys watched that. So we never finished the tape, so we'll finish it now. These are pretty neat glasses that Gail sent you, Hunter.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo, look at that.
See rainbow in the light.
I see rainbow everything. I see rainbow lights. Cheyenne's taking them away from me.
Hey, those are mine.
How's your cold, my boy? Listen to your poor voice.
Wow.
You know, your poor voice. It sounds strange. Look at Cheyenne. You look like Flash Gordon.
I just have to talk for
This is the next day. This is what? This is May 6th. What?
And I have to talk just very quick and close my mouth.
You have to talk very quick and close your mouth?
Yes.
Why?
And close my mouth.
Why? Because your nose is stopped up?
No, because my voice.
Oh, because your voice is not so good, so you have to talk quick and close your mouth.
Yeah.
Is that what you? Is that what you do too, Cheyenne?
I try to speak like my old one,
And
my other voice.
And it's not. Doesn't there?
Well, I did the other time.
Well, why'd you break your voice?
Guys,
Why?
break my voice.
Well, I know, but Hunter broke his voice. Why'd you break it?
I didn't break it. Are you just kidding?
Yes.
Just kidding.
Are your ears on?
Yep.
They're still not on?
My
Oh, my poor guy. I'm so
Well,
sorry.
Mom's going to get something.
Well, now let's read this little book. It's called about the story of two bad mice. It says, once upon a time, there's a look at this little mouse. He's sawing up a ham, and looks like here's some meat and some potatoes.
But, they don't have mad eyes.
No, they're just cute little mice sitting in a chair at a table. It says, once upon a time, there was a beautiful dollhouse, which belonged to two dolls, Lucinda and Jane. And one morning, when the dolls went out for a drive, and no one was in the nursery, who should appear but two mice, Tom Thumb and his wife, Hunca Munca. Hunca Munca? That's what it says, Hunca Munca. Anyway, the two mice went into the dollhouse and tried to eat the food that was sitting on the table.
But what the mice did not know is that this food was made of plaster. This was just toy food for the dollhouse, see? So try as hard as they would, well, they couldn't cut or bite into it. And they met with no success. So now here's the next page. Look. And so, this is just a little dollhouse like your dollhouse, and the mice are playing in it, Cheyenne. What do you think?
Yeah.
Is that kind of strange?
Yeah.
Anyway, it said, they were so disappointed and angry that they wound up throwing the food and plates to the floor and smashing them to pieces. That was a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Then the naughty mice went upstairs and they threw Jane's clothes out the window. As if this weren't bad enough, they pulled out all the feathers out of the bed. And they took Lucinda's mattress, and then they took furniture and a bird's cage and several odds and ends for their own use. Oh, these bad little mice. Look at them. Look at they're taking chairs and a mop. And it looks like a broom. Now as the two... Huh?
Are they breaking them?
I don't know. I think they're running away with them. Probably going to put them in their house behind the walls. It says as the two bad mice were running away with some of the goods, the two dolls came home. They were very upset with the mess in their house, and they managed to retrieve what would not fit into the mouse's hole. But Hunca Munca did get some pots and pans, and a candle, and some of Lucinda's clothes, among some other useful things. Uh-oh. And now here are the mice. Later that day, Tom Thumb felt bad for being such a bad mouse. And so on Christmas Eve, which was the next night, he took all his savings and he stuffed them into Jane's Christmas stocking. And every morning when the dolls were still asleep, Hunca Munca quietly came in and swept the room. So they tried to be better mice, see? When the dolls went to sleep, the mice came in, they gave a Santa Claus stocking, they put some good stuff in there, and they swept up the dollhouse because they felt bad about what they did. What do you think about that story?
What's wrong? It's red.
What do you think about that story?
red.
Okay, here's the two bad mice. Alrighty. This book is called A Boy, a Dog, and a Frog. This was a little quarter book that we found at the bookstore on Saturday, isn't it? All right, now here's a little boy. And what's he doing? Oh, this is a book just in pictures. Well, it looks to me like he's going to go try to catch a fish or something, Cheyenne. Look, because he has a bucket. See it, Hunt?
Yeah.
And he has a net over his shoulder. So he's going off, and he's looking down between the trees. And, oh, there. He sees a lake down here. Yeah, well, there's a frog. That's a turtle you have there on your watch or your bracelet. But look at this. Here's a frog down in the water. And so the little boy runs down the hill as fast as he can. He's got the net. What's he going to do? He's going to catch the frog? Uh-oh, but what happens to him? He trips over that log, and he falls in the water. Splash, and he comes up, and he's got the bucket on his head, and he's looking right at the frog. Now he reaches out to grab the frog, and the frog jumps. And the frog jumps. Look at this. He jumps. And the little boy doesn't catch him. And now here's the little boy standing in the water. His dog's in the water, and the frog is up on the log. And the frog's going what? Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And so here's the frog looking at the boy. And so now the boy is mad. He decides if he comes up this way, the dog's going to go this way. They're going to go up, and they're going to get that frog off that log. And so they go up, and he gets the net ready, and he swings it down. And what happens?
Yeah, frog jump.
Well, the frog jumps, and he catches the dog. Oh, no. And now the frog is mad. Look at the mad eyes in the frog. And here's the boy. He's got the dog in the net. And so now the little boy is standing over there, and he's yelling at the frog. He's really mad. And he decides to go away. So there he goes. He's going home. Dun, 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 dun. The dog's all upset, and he's dragging. And look at the little boy's pulling the net behind him, and way down there by the water, there sits the frog. And so the frog's just sitting there all by himself. So the frog decides to follow the boy home. He sees his footprints as they're all wet. He follows him all the way home to his house. And there's the boy up there. Look at this. taking a bath in the house, and the frog comes right into the bathroom door. He looks in, and the boy stands up in the bathtub, and he's going, "Oh my goodness, the frog followed us home." And the frog goes, "Yep, boom!" And he jumps, and he lands right on top of the doggy's head in the bathtub. And here's a little boy with his bare butt hanging out, and he's sitting on the edge of the bathtub, looking at the frog on top of the dog. He says, "A boy, a dog, and a frog." That's a really cute book. I really like that book. Don't you, Shay? I know you found it and you wanted it. Okay, you know what time it's getting to be?
What?
It's getting to be time to turn this tape over and read another book called DuckTales on the other side. Are we ready?
It's honey.